Event Planner, www.djeventplanner.com. See more info in the description of this video for them and other sponsors of the show. Tonight, we have with us, of course, Howie. Big smiles, Howie. We have Jay, chillin' Jay.
What's up?
And Boston John with music.
Oh, you're ready now? Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to move things along here. Close enough. Boston John's record roundup. What do you got for us this week, John?
Da, 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 da. Oh, we love music. It was like boom, boom.
It's copyright free music, so it won't get flagged.
Awesome.
Excellent.
I know. Yeah.
Welcome to Spinal Tap.
Can't flag you if they can't hear it.
It's our high quality punk video here.
In 12K, so high you can't hear it.
So high, yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
4K? 4K?
4K.
4K?
Sorry, John.
Oh, that's all good. All right. So I dug back a little bit. We had talked a bit the week before about Skinner and Rosington, and I was trying to stay on the lines of some Southern rock. So I dug up the hit makers from the 80s.
Nice.
Oh, that's an amazing
Nice.
Is that wild? That's not Wild Eyed Southern Boys, is it?
That was before this. This is the Special Forces, which came out in 82.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
First top 10 hit. A little backstory of 38 Special. It's Donnie Van Zant, not Ronnie. Ronnie from Skinner fame, of course. They got into the charts a couple of years prior. They had some hits. This was the one that broke the top 10 because this had Caught Up in You, which was the biggest single I think that they ever charted with.
That was bigger than Hold On Loosely?
Hold On Loosely was, that was 81. So was Fantasy Girl.
Jeez.
And they made it.
Boy,
Yeah, those hit the Hot 100, but they didn't break the top 20. This was the first one that really put them on the map. And then they were just a staple of 80s radio all the way till probably
they
into the
played
90s.
the crap out of that stuff when I lived in Oklahoma. I mean, the first album, that was like all you heard was Hold On Loosely and
Rockin' Into the Night. Rockin' Into the Night, funny enough, I did a little digging on that. They almost gave that away. That was actually written for Survivor, the Eye of the Tiger guys, but they hung on to it. So then they kept it for themselves, and they did pretty well. And I just pulled a couple of their other hits that came after. What If I'd Been the One That Said Goodbye? Want You Back Where You Belong? Somebody Like You. I mean, they were just hit makers, and they were just constantly in the top 40 radio rotation.
Was Teacher on that, John?
Teacher was 84.
Okay.
That came written by Bryan Adams and Jim Valance, coincidentally.
If I remember right, they were heavily influenced by Toto.
Same kind of, they wanted Southern rock, but they didn't want to be a country band.
Yeah.
They're a great niche, and it's real easy listening stuff. Great cocktail music. It's a little bit of energy, but it's rock and roll, but it's not loud rock and roll. And I've always been a fan of the band, so I thought we'd shine a little light on the 38 Special for this week.
Nice one. Nice one.
Pretty good.
Chain Lightning was the one that I bought that just killed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's another great album by them.
Howie, what do you have for us this week?
Well, my pick is for two reasons, and I picked "Rocket to Russia" by the Ramones.
I was going to say Ramones.
And the reason I picked that is because they made 3 albums in less than 2 years. And that was the last album they made with the original 4 members. Tommy left right after that. And I did the last light and sound for them at a Jersey club that held 3,000 people. They had, 3 different stages, but they did that. Then they went, Tommy quit and they got a new drummer. They toured Europe and so forth like that. But their very first single off that did really well was Sheena Is a Punk Rocker.
Right.
After that came Rockaway Beach, which was a theme park in one of the boroughs in New York, very much like Coney Island. It's no more. It's just a pile of junk right now. But then they did Teenage Lobotomy, and they did 2 covers, believe it or not. And it's called Do You Want to Dance Bobby Farron, and Surfing Bird by like 5 guys I never heard of. And believe it or not, Rolling Stone listed this as one of their top 500 albums of all time. And so that's my pick because it was the last time I did sound for the Ramones. And that was the last album that Tommy was with, the original 4.
For anybody who's listening and are going to have a listen to any of these records that we're recommending, the cool thing about Ramones is the songs are that long.
Yes.
Oh,
yeah. Sheena is a Punk Rocker, which was their big hit off of that, is only 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yeah, it's not a bathroom break song. Don't drop that thinking you got time to go and get back.
Sneeze.
It's like 20 seconds longer than Rich Girl by Hall & Oates.
Yeah.
Don't even
short.
pick another song. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the Ramones are a lot of fun, a whole bunch of fun. And even if you just do like a greatest hits of Ramones, it's everything's structured like 50s rock.
Yeah.
But they're really like short, grungy songs, and they all sound incredibly similar, but they're a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
They're a whole bunch of fun.
You know what you're getting if you're going to see the Ramones. Just like Jay mentioned about AC/DC, you know what you know what you're getting.
They're not reinventing the wheel every album.
It's very much like an AC/DC.
You're not getting guitar solos and a drum solo, and
we're going a different direction on this album. No, we're not. We're just going to keep on doing the same thing.
You're going to get 45 minutes of 38 songs, and that's it.
Right.
You're good.
Tons of fun.
Now, is Tommy still alive? Do you know, Howie? Because I know Marky's still alive.
No,
the next drummer was Marky.
Yeah, but Marky was not an original.
No. I thought all the originals were dead.
Marky's trading on the Ramones name, but all 4 of the original members are gone.
Yeah,
they have died.
Just like Motorhead, they're all gone. A bunch of bands now, sadly.
Yes, that's true.
All the originals are gone.
What do you have, Jay?
Well, I'm going in a little different direction, but a little punk vibe to it. More of what I would describe as industrial electro dance. An 11-song album that I bought and still play and still love with one remix on it, and that would be Lust by one of my favorite bands of all time, the Lords of Acid.
Ooh.
This is, if you want to know what Lords of Acid sound like, this is the album that I always go, just get Lust. It's tracks like, Let's Get High, I Sit on Acid, of course, the biggest hit they probably ever had. Yeah, Most Wonderful Girl, I Must Increase My Bust, Pump My Body to the Top, Take Control did really well, Rough Sex did really well. If you're into that scene, or if you get into like that kind of hard industrial gothy slash, I mean, it's really a leading piece. I was lucky enough to see them with another fave band of mine, My Life with Thrill Kill, a number of years ago, and got to hang out afterwards with them, and hung out with the guy, the Svengali of the band, is a guy named Praga Khan, who does solo work, but is pretty much the backbone of Lords of Acid. But, be careful playing I Sit on Acid too loudly in the beginning.
Well, the whole song, it's still on your face.
There are some overtones for sure.
No, there's,
subtle, very subtle overtones.
I mean, I include Lords of Acid if I do a goth set. I include it if I do an industrial set. I include it if I do a dark wave set. They just always fit in that kind of pocket. They could have put a track on the Crow soundtrack and it would have made sense, because they would fit with Ministry. They fit with Nine Inch Nails to a certain extent, but they're really more of a dance kind of a thing. So if you want to check something really different, they're actually described as acid house, techno.
Yes, acid house is what I was going to say.
Electronica, acid techno, and rave.
Yeah, acid house is kind of where I always would pigeonhole them and play them within a set with that kind of stuff, like with Maurice and things. I don't know why, but that's just where it was. Was it 89 or 88 or 89, something like that?
91 Lust came out.
But the single, or I Sit on Acid came out like in 88 or 89.
It could have, but it's on this album
did.
as
Yeah. Well, they
as
probably
then,
kind of like Ministry. They collected all the 12-inch singles and they released 12-inch singles several years later.
right.
The collection of those songs on them. But
Yeah. I mean, they're really good. They're not really a band, but they're a good group. They're a good act.
Yeah.
Good sound. I was still Mr. like heavy metal when I got into them. So
where are they out of?
I want to say they're out of Germany initially.
Okay.
I believe that's Praga Khan's backyard. A lot of the members are from all over the place, but I believe Germany is sort of their origin.
Okay.
I can get a better answer in a moment for you, but I believe. Yes, I can click on the Wikipedia button. Let's see where they're out of. Belgian. No, I'm wrong. Debut of a Belgian.
You're wrong, but you're not. It's right next to Germany.
Yeah,
it's right there.
Same church, different pew.
Yeah, it's like saying they're they're from Los Angeles. No, they're from San Diego. Well, they're right next to each other.
Yeah. But yeah, I think if it's a very either you really get it and you like them or you don't.
Yeah.
And for the most part, every time I've played it, people enjoy listening to it. They have fun with it.
I Sit on Acid was a huge club hit.
Big hit. Yeah.
Huge club hit.
Yep.
Back in the day.
Yeah. I played that for Lori and, one night in a she was, oh, I like this.
It's
funny. People like it that you don't think would like it.
Right.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was coming out of the metal scene and it was not a real stretch to get into Lords of Acid if you're into metal.
I kind of thought the same thing. I remember there was a band that some friends of mine were in, and they were doing, they were kind of like Slayer guys. And I'm like, guys, just listen to this.
Yeah.
But they didn't get it, but I thought they should. It just seemed like a gateway for.
It's dance metal to me. I know the terms acid and
it's pretty heavy,
rave and all that, but it's heavy enough to be appealing to somebody that's into harder music. Mm-hmm. That's why I throw them in the same camp when I do mixes of a Ministry. I mean, playing NWO.
They work well with that,
yeah. NWO and that work really well. And the fact that they toured with My Life with Thrill Kill.
Yeah,
I love My Life.
Perfect pairing.
Yeah.
And I've seen,
like I said,
and I've seen Ministry with My Life with Thrill Kill opening. So it shows the diversity of kind of where they're not really pigeonholed as much.
Jay, you may have coined a new subgenre, dance metal.
I mean, I
never heard that before.
There's pieces by Marilyn Manson that are sort of dance metal-ish.
Sure. Rob Zombie.
Rob Zombie.
Got that
the term itself, dance metal. I've never heard that before.
Just, you're combining the two things and just,
like
I said, the more you hear it, the more you're like, oh, I totally get this. This makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got for us, Brian?
Well, I was going to go with Donna Summer Anthology, but there's something else I'm thinking I maybe should mention on this show. But you know what? I want to do it next week. We're going to go with Donna Summer Anthology. I don't have a record. I have the CD somewhere. So her first greatest hits was On the Radio, which I've got back here. It's really good. It's, kind of her disco queen greatest hits. And it's mixed. Like it's all kind of, each side of the 4 album set is one track. And that's a lot of the Donna Summer that a lot of people know. But last night I played a Donna Summer song from the 80s that was pretty popular. And Jay was like, I'd never heard this before.
Nope, never heard it before.
But it was a hit and it's really good. So the reason I'm recommending the Donna Summer Anthology is because she did more music after On the Radio. After 79, there was other stuff produced by several different people. And I'll just do this is the album cover, which is not very interesting. Came out in 93. And it's got stuff on it that, I don't know. Like, of course, this is like the first one is like all of the disco stuff. Love to Love You, Baby. Could it be Magic, the Barry Manilow cover?
Yep.
Try Me a Few Spring Affair. But then when you get to the second disc, you're on there. It starts with On the Radio, then The Wanderer, which is look at that, arranged by Harold Faltermeyer.
We talked about him a few weeks ago.
We mentioned him last night too.
We were talking about Jan Hammer, but yeah.
No, but remember I said, is this from Beverly Hills Cop? And you're like,
right. Oh, that's right.
It's got that vibe. And now
there's bounce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's all over. Wow.
Yeah, she does. Yeah. A version of Don't Cry for Me, Argentina. Of course, Love is a Control here.
Giorgio.
So Steve Lucas is
no, Love is a Control. Well, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina is, but Love is a Control is Quincy Jones.
But look at the guitarist, Michael Sambolo from Maniac.
Yep. That was Flashdance.
Yeah.
The State of Independence. She Works Hard for the Money. Unconditional Love. There's some good. This time I know it's for real. This is the Stock Aitken Waterman one that I was talking about, who are another act that you should probably just know who they are. But Anthology is worth it because there's more to Donna Summer than just the 70s disco Giorgio stuff. There's other things that are actually worthwhile to have listened to.
Mm-hmm. I think in the 80s, you had to look like that's why when I was so shocked last night to hear that for the first time, 80s were very like you had your radio stations. If you weren't exposed to it in a club environment, because I went to see bands, not club DJs as much, you didn't get any of that. I mean, I was into the metal scene, so I was going to rock clubs, and even a DJ in a rock club was playing rock.
Well, that was Top 40 radio back then.
Yeah, pretty
much. Didn't make it to. I mean, if it was on BCN and it escaped me. I mean, I was listening to more rock-oriented radio.
Well, sure. No, if you
that,
were
to me,
to
that's
the rock
a Kiss
station.
108 track. Right. I'm on COZ, Phoenix 101 or 100.7, whatever the Phoenix was, BCN, AAF. And then we had Kiss 108.
Yeah, they started up like at the end of disco is about when they came to be. So probably what, 80, 81. So they were playing all the R&B.
And they were playing all the R&B, all the disco, all the more dancey stuff. And that just wasn't my vibe at the time.
I don't believe that Donna Summer was ever exclusively on what you would call urban radio. She was on Top 40 radio. She was crossover, always crossover.
I mean, what was Top 40 radio in Boston, John, then? Was it Kiss?
Possibly. HTT was 103. 103.3. It was HTT hit radio that do like top 40 countdowns all day long. And it was all Depeche Mode, Human League. You know, it was that stuff. It was the Euro new wave.
Yeah.
New wave. Yeah.
I mean, Emerson was all over the map on that stuff, but I didn't catch, that's
like that would be played on the same stations that, anything else like the Michael Jackson was being played on. That was crossover, or the Little Red Corvette, or the early Madonna stuff. It was all on the same station.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. So for those of you who missed it or weren't there the first time because you're, 30 years old, which is an adult and still, you weren't born then.
Yeah.
It's a cool collection to check out. And some really nice music, very well arranged, and one of the greatest female singers of all time, in my humble opinion.
And you know what makes her that, Brian? You know what really solidifies that statement and makes it an absolute fact?
There we go.
I said it.
You know where she's from?
Yeah, where she's from.
Where? Boston.
Boston.
Yeah. Got that going for it too. So
I saw that coming a mile away.
Just saying.
Well, you know where she was discovered, oddly enough.
Boston.
Germany.
She
was an American doing. I don't know what she was doing over there. So I don't. But she
drinking beer.
She was over in Germany, and that's where Giorgio found her.
Wow.
So yeah, she went to Germany to
like torch singing, or
I don't know. I don't know why she was there, but she was in Germany and answering.
I will ask
or something.
Chris and get us an answer for next show.
We could Wikipedia.
I will get us the answer. Chris will know.
But yeah. Giorgio and I think it was either Harold or Jan was looking for someone to do the vocals for Love to Love You Baby, and they found her and had her do it, and she was really uncomfortable doing it, but she did it. And they're like, hey, you're pretty good, let's do some more music together.
Yeah.
So they did I Feel Love, and just it blew up after that.
Well, she got extra uncomfortable when she had to overdub it with the
simulate. Yeah.
Oh yeah, she didn't.
She was a gospel girl from Dorchester or Roxbury.
Right.
Yes. No, she was a church singer. That's where she started in the choirs.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't her, even though she was known for that, that wasn't her strong suit. I remember reading about that.
I've seen interviews with her where she kind of sounds like Tina Turner post Ike, where she's like, I want to do rock. I don't want to do, R&B or disco. I want to be a rocker. I want to be Mick Jagger. She was kind of the same way.
Well, look up that video you played that night. That was a real eye opener. And anyone watching this, look up "Turn Down the Lights" by Donna Summer, but the Rod Stewart version, because she wrote it for Rod. She can sing it well in that vein too.
Donna Summer doing really "Dim All the Lights" in the style of Rod Stewart.
Yes.
It was on like a VH1 concert in the late 90s. She wrote the song for Rod, but she decided to keep it for herself. No, it was her own thing. It wasn't her with anyone else. And if you can see the video of the concert, you'll see why she's my favorite singer. When she's hitting the high notes, it's effortless. There are no veins popping out of her neck. She's not losing her mind like some of these other divas we can mention, but I won't. Mm-hmm. It was just natural. She was just that good. And she wasn't even
shots fired.
I know. I didn't mention any names. I was, being vague about it.
She had range and power. Yeah.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. She could have sang anything.
Yep, based solely on the fact that she's from Boston.
All right.
There you go. And she's Irish. Excellent.
Wasn't the Boston Strangler from Boston too?
No, New York. Like Robert DeSanto or something?
Yes, strangely enough, he wasn't from
Oddly. I don't believe he was.
Of course. We don't own him, but
no.
We got the rest
of them. We got Einstein, Jesus. We got a bunch of people from
Boston Scientific. We got Boston Market. We got a few different Boston things.
Yeah.
But not the Strangler.
No, not him, buddy. We got Quincy Market. We got Hanover Market.
Quincy Market's not in Quincy.
No, it's not. That's what's weird. It's in Haverhill. That's what's even stranger. Worcester and Haverhill. They're on fire tonight.
So there you have it. Some records for you guys to check out.
Good stuff. Good stuff tonight.
If what we had to say means anything, there are some suggestions and stuff.
Very diverse tonight. Southern rock.
Yes.
Like established female, amazing singer, some punk, some industrial, acidy, techno.
As it should be.
That'll
all over the map tonight, kids. Good job.
As it should be.
Good job.
Diverse. So what do you kids want to talk about this week? We had a couple topics we were kind of bouncing around last night. I think we were kind of looking at the AI thing a little bit.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
Maybe we should talk about that as a group and see what our thoughts are.
Yeah, sounds like a plan.
The general consensus seems to be, when I look on social media, we're all going to lose our jobs. It's almost over because AI is coming.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I want to quote Ronnie James Dio on the social media aspect. If you listen to fools, the mob rules. So sadly, when these sort of things happen, and they're either not understood or misinterpreted, people immediately go to that. There's already reports that it'll affect like 20% of upper management positions. Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, everybody, but your phone and that little dome thing in your kitchen, bathroom, bedroom that you ask what the weather is today, that's a form of it. Like, it's compiling things. Like, this is not, I hope that's not news flash that, when you and I are speaking about something and I pick my phone up and half an hour later, the first ad I see is for that item.
Yep.
That's sort of what is going on. I can't understand on any level how artificial intelligence is going to get in front of a crowd of people and see a guy grab his ankle and think to itself, I got to drop Ice Ice Baby. Or that couple over there is making out. I got to drop, Unchained Melody. Or any of that. And there's a guy from Spotify that I saw interviewed, and they recorded him saying like every possible word. And he's the AI DJ. And what he does, and they explained it as, if you come in and request a song from him, the AI aspect is it begins to compile like, oh, we noticed you liked vanilla ice cream. You may like hot fudge. Oh, you like that? How about some whipped cream? Like, it just starts to cultivate and make a playlist for you. And that's fine. Guess what? YouTube's been doing that on the right side of me picking out a Hall & Oates video since day one. That's not a news flash, but guess what it doesn't do? It doesn't, A, get it right all the time, and B, the algorithm is such that it's promoting things. And I think that that's what you're going to get with AI. It's not going to replace a DJ. And if you're a bad enough DJ that you think it is, time to hang up the headphones.
Hang up the headphones for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it has the ability to make a left turn as quickly as we can.
Human. I watch a group of people and they come to me and say, "Oh, you really get me." AI doesn't know what that means. When they're dancing and giving me, air high fives or thumbs up or rave hearts, AI won't know how to take that. I do. I'm like, oh, they're digging this track. They're going to love this track. That's the intelligence aspect of being a DJ. But making it artificial, I can't see anyone being scared. You have a pair of eyes and any skill or talent at all. Your job is to read the room and read the floor. That's never going to happen with AI.
I'm sorry, John, what you say? Let's say you. Otherwise, Jay's going to just keep going.
No, it's
I'm still going. What do you need? You need more?
He's got more. He can go on. He's good.
I know he's got more.
2-hour special tonight.
And another thing.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest.
It's existed in the fact that a lot of the places that used to have bands and DJs have electronic jukeboxes. Mm-hmm. And it knows when you put in your $5 bill to get 3 songs or whatever it is now. It's stupid expensive.
Or you play the phone.
You play the first one, and it'll make recommendations based on that. It says, well, if you like this, you must like this. It's the same algorithms that have been with these music services since Pandora and everything else. Like, this whole channel is dedicated to similar things. But we're not always playing similar things because a whole bunch of similar things is too similar. We shuffle the deck once in a while. We don't just play, you like Hootie and the Blowfish, you're going to love Dave Matthews, you're going to be like, you put the whole crowd to sleep. You got to change it up somewhere, and we are the ones with the senses, that can see the spice and see. Oh, they're not on the dance floor, but they're vibing at that table. I'm gonna do something for them. If you're playing in front of a crowd, it's more than just algorithms. There's more to the skill level. It's not just what makes sense to play with this. Well, then you're just a programmable library. Virtual makes suggestions. It goes, when you play a song, if you're connected to the internet, it kicks back to the database, and usually it throws a suggestion across the bottom.
Yeah, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, but it's according to the other DJs that when they play that song, we recommend that followed, or at least consider it. If you're having a brain fart and you don't know where to go, it's like, oh, it's giving me a softball here. But for with us having many generations of music and different genres and stuff, I don't think AI can even remotely keep up to how quickly we flip a room and change things. The whole logic process, like if you're playing in a bar and you got to rotate the floor, it's not going to understand that.
I want to follow up here a little bit with what you said about the VDJ recommendation. Okay. Because I've seen that, I'm not looking down as much as I should, I guess, but I've seen it pop up. It's like, recommended, and it gives a suggestion. Mm-hmm. You use VDJ, right, John?
I do, yes.
How often do you go with that recommendation?
I laugh at some of them.
I never go with the recommendation.
You're in an 80s thing, and it's like, you should really play Love Shack. I'm like, no, not that.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they're thoughtful, but I'm like,
get me fired.
No, that's not where I need to go right now.
Yeah.
I have to ask real quick, is it a setting in virtual? Because Rekordbox has that where you can tell it, give me recommended tracks that are within 3-4 BPM of the track I'm playing, within one key, within the genre of, and it will propagate on the side like 12 tracks. If you're playing Michael Jackson, these 12 tracks will go by beat, by key, by genre. Is it like that with virtual, or does it just randomly do it?
No, it's something that would land relatively close. If you're playing Billie Jean, it might throw like a Rick James or a George Benson or something. It'll pick something that's appropriate.
Sometimes it makes sense. Sometimes to me it doesn't.
People like that. I've had people say to me that's one of the attributes of Rekordbox they enjoy, is that they know they've still got 7 or 8 tracks that they could look at if they're either don't know where to go, or they've already got a track loaded and they go, "Ooh, I forgot about Rick James. I'm going to use that." So I could see that actually being a benefit to a certain extent, especially if you told it to do it.
I'm organized. You never need that. I mean,
I don't think I would ever suggest that it's a bad thing. What I am suggesting is for it to be an absolute as goofy.
Oh, no, I agree.
Okay, well, no. I'm playing this song now. It's recommending that I play this song next. So I'll just automatically play this song next. That would be a fail.
Yeah. It's just basing on trends and what it's seen other DJs play.
Right.
It usually happens more with the top 40. If you're playing something that's within the last year or two that's current, it's going to give you a current song, not necessarily a song that makes sense. It's like, oh, you're playing Ariana Grande, we're going to give you Kesha. It does it that way. It just says, well, this is where you are. This is your, genre.
Before we go to Howie, I just wanted to mention that I think that's kind of what anybody who's not alarmist is saying about this narrow AI, which it's narrow AI. This is not broad AI, it's narrow. So it's just kind of like a really nice Google. It's compiling things and regurgitating things that people have already said. It's collecting information and spitting it back out at you. It's not thinking for itself. Broad AI would be thinking for itself. We're either 10 years away from that or never, one or the other. But the alarmists will say, oh, no, this is the end. But anybody who's, thinking maybe a little different about this might suggest, hey, you know what? Maybe AI can work with me, where it's not like DJing, but it's helping me DJ. And that is valid, I think. And that is positive, opposed to, oh my gosh, the Matrix or the Terminator,
Or 2001, A Space Odyssey, where Hal said would not open the bay doors.
Right. Yeah.
Human error.
So Howie, are you shaking in your little space boots about AI right now?
No, not at all. I think someone had to write the code for that. So I'm going to use applied science here as my rationale for it not taking over at all. It may be the next new jukebox that's on the wall that people put dollar bills in or use their phone.
Right.
Maybe, the little corner bar.
Sure.
Hey, hey, our this is what we like here, blah, blah, blah. It's free jukebox night and it just plays, but I just, from a scientific standpoint, it's made by humans. Someone had to write the code and the program for that. And I do believe that there could be a kill switch for it if it got out of hand. I don't see it anytime in the next 5 or 10 years actually being that good. Right now, it's so narrow. It's so narrow that kids have been using AI, the narrow one, for doing homework and stuff.
Right.
But they also have a program that analyzes the AI and says that's plagiarism, and they want to get an F on their homework.
Right.
So it's plagued with misinformation and errors at this current point in time. And my scientific mind says, no, it's not going to. It doesn't have a personality to it.
Wow, Howie, you really laid that out nicely for us. Didn't he always sound smart? I mean, he is smart, but he sounded really smart.
It sounded like Robot Howie. Yeah,
first we beat the kids, now Howie's dumb. I don't know what's up this week.
Now, how would you feel if we discovered that?
I got everything I said. I read off of AI on that.
That's what I was just going to say. He just put that in AI and read it, probably. Yeah.
Chat GPT.
So
I am.
Well, no, they're going to use it.
I am of the opinion that if you are really concerned about AI taking over your job as a DJ, maybe this isn't your calling.
Exactly.
Maybe, if you don't think you can be any better than AI, maybe it's time to either step it up or step to the side. Because I do think AI could replace some crappy DJs. That I believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That I believe. And so many DJs are like hive mind about things where it's like, it's monkey see, monkey do. They're all kind of saying the same thing, doing the same thing, playing the same thing. Of course, they need to be worried because they're just regurgitating what everybody else is doing. But if you're doing things that are a little more original and putting some real empathetic, thought into what you do in front of your audience, you're probably okay for our lifetimes anyway. Granted, we're a little older, but still.
You know what it feels like, Brian, to me? It genuinely feels like when laptops and programs back in the late 90s, that first lunchbox, PC DJ red and blue. And I was a staunch CD guy. I was staunch, like, nope, CD players don't break, and I can burn my own music. I know what to do. And I had a very successful career. Everything was going great, but you started to see the cracks in it when you started to have people go, oh, yeah, here's the other question. What kind of equipment do you use? And you would tell them, and they would say, oh, you don't use a laptop? And you could tell they'd met with a laptop DJ who explained this great benefit of having endless music. And I bring in 2 million songs, and the CD guy is only bringing 500 CDs. He can't have the same amount of music. And you had to start questioning, is this replacing me? And then when I got into a laptop, I realized I'm 100 times better DJ now because the old searching I used to do has been replaced with keys. But it still came down to me making the critical decision. So I agree with you that there's an attribute to AI that would assist a DJ, especially in a genre maybe they're not familiar with.
I was thinking the same thing, like
I'd be happy to do do a country wedding or do a Persian wedding or do something,
right,
and have it say, hey, these are very popular songs in this genre today. And these are very popular songs in this genre from 20 years ago.
So maybe crate hackers should be worried.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Well, pew, pew, pew.
Maybe crate hackers needs to find something else to do because AI is going to do it for them. I don't know.
I mean, is that a possibility? I understand what AI means, but I look at some of the websites where I shop for music and it says, downloads. Do you want the top downloads that we have? That's sort of AI in that it's copying what other people have done, and it's giving me a forecast of these must be good songs, Jay, because all these other people downloaded them, so you should too. I think the younger generation might be a little bit plagued with atrophy when it comes to making decisions, and the fact that something will do it for them, that's probably enticing. But if, as you said earlier, if you're worried about AI replacing you, then you can't argue it. And the one thing no one's mentioned, the one Achilles heel of all of this is power. I can sit at a Starbucks with no laptop in front of me and discuss music with a client. Without power, AI doesn't exist. There is no, well, if I had a laptop with me, I could show you how AI could do your wedding better. No, it's a power-based thing.
Okay.
So in the real world where you're speaking with another human about their special day, you need to reel off when they say, we really like Lords of Acid. Oh, you know what? You must be into these 5 bands, or I can play this. I told you guys, I did a Christmas party and the client said, I really love Beth Hart. And without missing a beat, I'm like, I've got some great Joe Bonamassa. And have you ever heard of Susan Tedeschi? No. And I played it and she came up, she's like, how have I not heard of this woman? This is amazing. That wasn't AI. That was me as the DJ doing my job. So
I was a little concerned there.
JI.
Yeah. We're talking about, without power, AI can't do anything. And I'm thinking, oh no, he's going to go destroy Skynet. He's going to blacken the sky so they can't work up with solar.
It's based on you being online doing this whole thing or having electronics in front of you. How much of your job when you get hired is you speaking and not sitting there going,
that's true.
You guys like Lords of Acid? Hold on. Let me type that into my computer and give you an answer. No, it's a discussion of knowledge. That's how you express your skill and talent and artistry, by being able to have an intelligent conversation that involves music.
I think what AI will not be able to do in that situation, and I don't know how else to say it, but I will stress it this way. AI is not going to be able to look at a client and very tactfully say, that's stupid, and it's not going to work. Maybe you should try it like this. AI is going to say, okay, we'll make it work. Okay, we'll make it work. Okay, we'll make it work. It's like that everything to everybody attitude.
Everything is awesome.
What AI is right now.
Yeah.
It's got all the answers,
Right.
It's
and
like
everyone deserves to win.
It's like freaking Gen Z. It knows everything.
Welcome to reality. That doesn't work. And this is why, and I know I can make it work in a different manner. But you're right. It's going to just go along to get along on every front.
Yeah.
And people will never know what they could have really had they invested in true talent.
Now, if you think that I'm being negative about this, I'm totally not. Think of it this way. Think of it as if you are playing absolutely every request that you get from Karen, the bridesmaid.
Oh, good Lord.
You can't.
No.
Right.
She's trying to be the tastemaker, but she's, sometimes Karen does a pretty good job, but Karen isn't a DJ.
Karen's been drinking and asking for way too much easy E tonight. So
Karen's going to walk
she's
going to come up to AI and say, no one likes this. No one's dancing to this. And AI is going to be able to clearly see that everyone is dancing with the cameras and the facial recognition.
Right. And the only benefit is AI will probably have a face.
How's AI going to reply to Karen?
Yeah. You are a moron. Please be seated.
Yeah. Drunk.
You are wrong. And then
you're going home alone.
And then Karen smashes
by the
machine
neck and lifts her away.
No wonder you don't have a boyfriend.
Getting the crap out of the laptop.
It's just not going to work. The way that I think a lot of people are afraid it's going to work.
How about no? We haven't discussed the personality part of it either. All of us have unique personalities and ways of dealing with people and situations.
Yes.
What's AI going to do if there's a situation?
The Google how to defuse a Karen.
Right away. Or do we go and diffuse the situation like you did, Brian, on several occasions? Oh, yeah, okay, we can take care of this.
You can't lose the human touch. You got to be good at it in the first place.
Doesn't have a personality.
Going back to,
of course.
It's interesting what you said, Howie. It made me think of something. Made me think of a New Order concert I went to probably about 7 or 8 years ago at Summerfest. And they had an opening act that was a female DJ.
Mm-hmm.
And no one was feeling her set. I don't think she was doing anything, but she was cute and she was standing up there bobbing her head.
Got you.
Even if AI existed, she's still marketable because she's there. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
AI almost can't replace Paris Hilton in that regard, or someone like that, or how we perceive Paris Hilton to be as a DJ.
Eye candy.
You can't replace that unless you hologram it, and then it's not real, and then it's not exciting.
Right.
It's got to be real, to be exciting, I think.
I'd be a lot more scared if I was a semi-famous 2, 3, 5,000 capacity DJ. Because then you got something to worry about, because now AI has access to all the songs. And if it can mix them, it can do a better set than you, because you're driving one genre. At a wedding environment, we're so all over the map. There's no way it's going to keep up in that respect to like doing pivots and turns on a dime that we have to do, because it won't make sense to it. AI is ones and zeros and makes sense. I think it's very black and white by design. Weddings and people aren't black and white. They're very gray. And that gray is where your personality comes in.
I don't want anyone to misunderstand this as me hating on technology. I love technology.
Right.
And, Jay picks on me sometimes because I don't want to put fuel injection on my 60-year-old
I was just going to say, you love technology until it comes to carburetors.
No, I love fuel injection on new cars. I don't even have an issue with electric cars. I think they're a fantastic idea. They're evolving.
Else.
They're evolving. But once it becomes viable, I'm on board. I'm not stuck in the past. I'm just saying that some things,
I'm going to stick with something that won't catch on fire spontaneously, though, for a while.
When you can put glass packs on an electric car, I'll buy one.
See, listen to you guys. Come on, I'm not afraid to try something new.
Play through the stereo.
Hold on, there's a cloud going over my house right now.
I'm hip. Well, we've got about 10 minutes left of the show, and I think we've beat this AI thing to death. Anything else you guys want to discuss in the last 10 minutes?
Let's you and I just give a quick overview of our gigs, because they were both kind of weird and kind of didn't know what to expect last week.
Talk about yours is more interesting than mine, I think.
I had a silent disco with another DJ. And it was a huge corporate event that took over 3 ballrooms all next to each other. And the first one had a little lounge act and some bars and some food. The second one was an Irish pub. and had another little lounge act and tables and some food. And then my room was 2 DJs side by side, literally 2 tables butted up to each other, 2 controllers, and we had 150 sets of headphones. And I brought 2 speakers solely to make announcements, not to play through. And I was concerned because I've never done a gig without some monitor. But, luckily 5 minutes into it, the client realized there's no sound in the room and it was dead silent.
Mhm.
And that didn't work for the client. So she asked that we turn the speakers on. So it ended up being a traditional gig in that respect. But the other DJ with me had his headphones on the whole night and played into his headphones. And it just was weird. The thing I learned very quickly was if there's more than one of you, which doing silent disco with 2 people is great, or even 3, just communicate very quickly. What are you going to play? Right then and there. Oh, I'm doing, 105 BPM Usher track. Okay, then I'll do more housey. And be prepared to kind of flip on a dime if you need to.
Sure.
But it went really well. Everyone was super happy. I mean, it was more wedding than it was anything else.
Right. That's what you said. You weren't sure what direction it was going to go in, but it was, you made that assessment early.
Yeah. And then when the DJ, I left to hit the washroom to change because I had to wear a black t-shirt with graffiti paint on it, glow in the dark. And when I came back, when I left, he goes, what are you going to play? I said, I think more housey, but I'll tell you in a second. I came back and I go 30 to 60-year-old wedding. And that's exactly what it was. And they
what?
but once they started, the very end of the night, he wanted to choreograph the last song. He wanted the headphone track and my track to be the same so that we had a unity. And he goes, what are you going to end with? And I'm like, the 3 tracks in my head or 4 tracks, Queen, Don't Stop Me Now, Killers, Mr. Brightside, Walk on the Moon, Shut Up and Dance, and maybe Donna Summer, Last Dance. And he goes, really? And then he looked at the crowd and he's like, yeah, that'll probably work. And it did. That was the last 4 songs of the night. Here you go, folks. Have a good night. And it was great. They were very, very happy. But, AI may have viewed this as, or whatever, oh, let's do this, this, and this. I didn't know what I was going to do till I walked in the room. And even then I didn't know because there was no one there. Once the guests are in front of you, but if somebody says, hey, we're doing silent disco, I wouldn't shy away from it. I would just be understanding of whatever the other guy's playing, let me play the opposite. And that way it gives people sort of a variety of what they can listen to.
That's a professional courtesy. That's, the kind of thing that I would do playing with the band too.
Yeah.
Goes in jam break.
This guy's this guy Spencer's a really, really good DJ. So he could play anything. He does a lot of radio. He does a lot of private events. He does a lot of weddings. He's all over the map. But he's the guy that's not going to really spend 10 minutes explaining it. What are you playing? More hip hop. I'll do house. Psh, done. That was it. And then he suddenly noticed, I was going up in BPM. I go, I'm going to get into more dancey stuff. He goes, all right, I'll drop into some hip hop. Boom, slammed into something. It was fun. It was a good time.
Good.
But it's that stress before the gig, like we were talking a little bit about last night.
Sure.
Just wanting to do well with a new thing. So now I at least can say silent disco, check, done that.
Yeah.
It's no longer the unknown.
Right. Yeah, and it worked out as well as I kind of thought it would work out. It's an interesting concept, but there's a reason it didn't light the world on fire. There's just
the concept is great. You could do a late night wedding that ends at 10 with the noise.
Sure.
And then hand out
a residential wedding. If
residentials. Something in the park on a Sunday afternoon for kids.
But it's expensive.
Yeah, I don't know what the final numbers were.
It's a big buy-in.
Oh, it's a big buy-in.
For that many headphones and a transmitter.
Yeah.
It's a big buy-in.
I tell you what, for what we do as individuals, going out and teching things and hauling crap around, I want as few things in my audio links to go wrong as possible.
Right.
So now we've got how many sets of headphones? And they're all wireless on a frequency and they all have to work?
And can you imagine at the end of the night, you wind up with 149 headphones? And you're
no, we were missing 4 at the end of the night.
Headphones. Somebody stole my headphones.
Someone's going to take them.
Well, we were missing 4 at the end of the night. And we had an assistant who, when people walked in, said, here are the headphones. If you push this button, it goes from red to green. And there's 2 DJs playing, so you can hear either one. And sadly, they had opened the other doors on the other side of the room. So while he's watching people are drifting in and out through other doors he didn't know were open.
Yeah.
Because they'd said, there's exits, but all the guests are coming and going through the front door, which he could have then simply said, "Oh, excuse me, let me grab those from you," kind of thing. I think, like you say, the buy-in is, it was 2 wireless transmitters. That was even a challenge because I had master volume going through speakers. I'm like, well, if I have speakers, I can't send the same signal to the headphones. It won't make any sense. We had to put the booth output to the headphones because we didn't want to have them go deaf on an announcement or something.
Right. Yes.
So you have to think, you have to really quickly go, now what? And I go, we'll just go to the booth output and I'll use that for the headphones and the master out will just run the speakers.
Yeah.
The experience, you make the cool decisions. You want to touch on your St. Patty's Day club gig?
Well, there's not a lot to say. It was a quiet night all in all, but it was a success because I was able to work with what was there. And sometimes when you're doing bar club stuff and it's quiet, you can almost shine because you can give who's there so much attention. So I was going up to tables and soliciting requests, introducing myself. A few people said, "Well, are you the owner?" Like, no, I'm just the DJ, because they're not used to service like that. So I could go up and talk to them and say hi. Yeah, I could go in the booth and just, take a nap or whatever I wanted to do. But, why do that? Take that opportunity and flex a little bit, find out what people like. And I was also working with the staff too, as far as, what to play for the bar and, what their needs were. And I went to the bar for a while and helped out with a situation there that I won't get into on a broadcast. But it was good. It was good. It was slow, but it was good. And at the end of the night, the bartenders tipped me out. It was that good.
That says a lot.
Even though it was a slow night.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, that says a lot.
What I will say too is that it's so nice to be somewhere that's such a good fit for me. It might not be a good fit for everybody. There might be a lot of people out there who go in there, they don't get the vibe, and it's not a fit for them. On the other hand, I did this sports bar 2 months ago that wasn't a good fit for me, but there's somebody else there now killing it. This is a good fit for them. Right. So when you're looking for a place that's, kind of a home base or like it becomes more of a regular thing for you, find a place that's a good fit for you. And it was a good fit for me when I was a kid in my 20s. It's a good fit for me now. It's a better fit for me now. I'm walking in there knowing more than I did when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, that's true.
And 100%. Not drinking and not tasting cocktail waitresses. So it's a different vibe now.
Right.
All different.
Yeah.
Things have changed a little.
Yeah, they've changed a little bit. I'm a grandfather now. A little different. Yeah. But it was just a good positive experience. I'm very happy to be back. I totally remember why I wanted to walk away from mobiles after working at that club, because it's so much fun and it's no stress. And you're not going in there. I don't remember one night that I went in there dreading going in there. In the 5.5, 6 years I worked there, I was always looking forward to going in there, and I'd always go in early. And yes, it's still the same.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't get old, It never got old. I left because I had to, because I was becoming a father, and I had to be present as a father. I couldn't come in, stumble in the door at 3:30 in the morning and sleep it until noon. I didn't have that option. I had to go to bed with the kid, get up with the kid, because I was primary caregiver there. But I had to leave. It wasn't a good fit for me anymore. And weddings were a better fit because they were done early and it was more dough and I could afford the babysitter and all that stuff. But this is fantastic. And the funny part is, and this is the same thing as New Year's, I left because of the kid. The kid dropped me off at the gig and picked me up. The same kid I left the place for to, raise her.
How much things have changed.
Driving me back and forth to the event. I mean, that's just weird when you think about it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're in the Milwaukee area on a Friday, go by Safe House. And the secret is, ask Brian when you get there what his secret agent name is.
They can find him in his hidden booth.
No, we're not going to talk about my secret agent name.
That was off camera stuff.
That's where you have to come to
age
Children
well.
After Dark, where it's rated X for, you've got to be kidding me.
It was a different time. That was a long time ago.
It was
Long
a
time.
different time.
It was a different time.
Yeah, okay.
It was a very different time.
For all of us. Yeah.
You know, it sounds funny, but you know, when I'm in there and anybody is asking a bartender or a waitress, and it was this way last night, hey, what's the story with this place? You should talk to Brian. I'm like, I'm the historian now.
Yeah.
Like, you know, because I was there and, you know, I've only been there. This is my third time working with this group and I'm already the historian. And that's funny. I was
Well, it's a benefit to them. You're getting people invested in a place because now they know the backstory, and there's such an attachment when you have something of yourself that you know about something.
They like me. They trust me. Yeah, they treat me well. I walked in the door. The bartenders were, we're so glad to see you, Brian. It's so nice to see you back. Thanks for coming back and working with us. Yeah. Hey, you know what? The kitchen's not real busy right now. Can we get you dinner or something? Are you kidding me? And then you get tipped out at the end of the night. Yeah.
Wow.
Dude, I'm where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm where I'm supposed to be. And you know what Jay said earlier about, you know, that stress level thing. I don't have that stress level.
Yeah.
At all. Walking into this place, I'm relaxed and I'm cool and I'm excited. It's I'm not going in there.
Perfect.
Again, here we go again. No, because it's a different night every night, because a different crowd every night. I'm going in excited, but not stressed. I know it's going to be fine. Whatever happens, it's going to be fine.
Yeah.
That's just a good feeling. And you know what? I've paid my freaking dues. I can go ahead and have a gig like that at this point in my career. You know?
Yep.
It's okay that I have a job like this now.
Yeah.
At your age, you probably got a couple good years left in you. I think you just should enjoy it.
Exactly.
Howie's gone way over the clock. I mean, the fact that he's even on this show is a good luck sign. Come on.
Thanks, Jay.
I mean, I could conceivably
that was AI
there.
speaking.
I could conceivably be there for the rest of my life. I mean, the place has been around.
Oh, since the 60s, right?
They opened in 66.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just the fact that a club is still open that long. I mean, it's you guys in like Stonewall in New York or something.
It's unheard of.
Nothing lasts that long.
We have another club in town that's the second oldest club in town. It opened in 67. It's called Victor's.
Yeah.
And that was a famous place, even like the movie Jersey Boys with Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons.
Yeah.
When he's going on that tour, after he has to like get the money back from, you know, whatever they needed money. He's going on tour by himself, going around and doing things. It shows him in front of Victor's in Milwaukee. That was like a place where people would go and play, but it was also a nightclub.
Yeah. Clubs still there. I mean, nothing. Coming out of Boston, John will know this. There's a club in Boston called the Paradise. They're still there, John?
Yes, they are.
The Paradise has got to be going on 50 years old at least.
Early 70s, anyway.
Yeah. That's unheard of in most cities. I don't think LA has a club. Well, no, LA has the Troubadour.
Yeah, the Go-Go's still there and all that stuff. I mean, you've got stuff.
Like those are there. But like most cities don't hold on to anything for that long. I know San Diego doesn't have anything in the way of a club that's been established, and they change names every 4 or 5 years and try something new, and that doesn't work. And then they close and they get bought, and you know, it's a circle. It's just a circle of depression.
It's a real interesting place. If anybody ever wants to come down there on a night when I'm working, let me know. We'll get you in, get you treated right.
Do they have a cover?
You know what? They used to. I don't know if they're having.
I was going to say, it's kind of empty. If they don't even have a cover, I'll get you in. Like, what's the big deal? Like, there's no cover.
Well, no, they had a cover before.
Come on, rich guy.
That was the whole thing with the agent name was the.
Oh, you had to have an agent name to get around the cover. Oh.
So you would buy that and you would present it at the door, and you and your party just would walk right in. You wouldn't pay cover or anything.
Nice.
So, and they did charge a cover. I haven't asked the door if they're charging a cover, but you know what? If they're not, they should charge a cover. So.
Yeah. Well, if you're there. Plus, if you get a guest list.
It's money. They're not going to say no, you know?
Right.
Oh, that's too much. What, $5 or whatever to get in? That's nothing. You know, just something to get
nowadays.
in. And it makes it a club, you know, because if you don't do that, you're a bar, basically.
Yeah.
Right.
People take it more seriously. They want to have more fun if they're invested in it.
Mm-hmm.
But they always did charge cover on the Code Red Nights, which is when the DJ was there. So the dinner crowd doesn't, of course, pay a cover, but if you're there after like 10, they charge a cover. So
right. This should be a Vice documentary. The DJ comes home or something. Here's Brian waddling back into the club 30 years later. Like, seriously, like you never hear about DJs coming back.
Yeah.
You don't. I've never heard of another DJ that's like, yeah, I had a residency for 4 or 5 years at this club.
Oh, the place is gone.
And
That's
now
why you can't go back. You can never go home.
You can't go home. And all of a sudden, here you are, like wandering in. What's your secret agent name again, Brian?
Yeah, I don't remember.
I thought I'd catch you.
No, don't
remember.
No.
You know,
You're not
Like,
getting
It's one that didn't age well.
He's got it on a wallet on a chain.
You never hear about that. You never hear that. So I think it's a one-off. You know, I mean, seriously, in the DJ world, to know that somebody's gone back after 25 years, that says a lot.
It's a good feeling. It really is a good, and I mean, I know there are a lot of people out there doing some pretty big things and good for them, but it's always been more than the money to me. It's been
right.
kind of I don't know how to say it, but it's just like, it's what I do. It's who I am. And it just feels so good to be doing that again.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more excited about that I'm more excited about this than I was doing the Rockville stuff and the Mopop stuff, or going to Germany and doing stuff, or going to LA and doing stuff, or whatever. I'm more excited about this bar 3 miles that way than I am all of that stuff. So it's fun. And it's the money's there. It's not stupid money. It's not low cash. It's good money.
Yeah.
Good.
That's only icing on the cake.
So, my mother's excited about it. She's like, oh, I'm so glad you're back there. I mean, I have a photo somewhere and I'm going to find it. It's a picture of myself, my father, and my grandfather standing on the dance floor at that club.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you've had 4 generations in that club.
We've had 4 generations with Stevie. I've had 4 generations in that club.
With Stevie, 4 generations in that club.
I think you may have shared that with us off camera one time.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure I did, but I got to find the picture because the trip, we're all standing there. Yeah. I think I've got like a yellow shirt and a tie on, something real loud in 90s. And then, of course, there's my grandpa looking like a gangster and my father standing in there looking like a cowboy. Because that's
there you go.
kind of how it was.
Put it sneak in there, hang it up on the wall when nobody's looking.
Can we leave? Just a couple minutes, Dad. We're just here for Brian. I want to go. This place is terrible.
Oh, we hung out and we drank beer. That was why we went there.
Good.
So. Yeah, Grandpa was probably around 90 when we went there, and he didn't care. He was down for it. But I'll have to find that picture and share it sometime. But anyway,
awesome.
All right,
that's it, guys. Thanks for joining us tonight. I don't know when this will be broadcasted. Probably, I don't know, sometime around the 4th of July or something. So happy 4th to everybody. Happy Independence Day.